Hey guys, this week's tip from Tara is about the VA loan, and not just the basics you already know, but what are those unique things about the VA loan that make the difference that most agents don't even realize exist? Well, first of all, the obvious. A VA loan allows our veterans to qualify for 100% financing with no mortgage insurance at a great rate. Here's the thing that's pretty cool. There's no limit to the loan size. If our veteran has not used their eligibility so far, they could go $1 million, $1.5 million at 100% financing with no mortgage insurance. That's unheard of in jumbo land, and it's a fantastic deal that most agents, frankly, don't know it works that way. If they've used the loan before and they still have some of their VA entitlement used up, then we go in and we do a calculation to determine what's the max loan they could do without a down payment, or for the home price they want, what down payment would it take? So we've got the expertise to take care of that for any of your veteran clients. Here are some other benefits. The VA loan is insanely flexible when it comes to seller credits or seller concessions. You might have heard before 4% is the limit on VA, but that's a misunderstood rule. It's actually that the seller is allowed to pay all of the buyer's closing cost, period, regardless of what percent that is, plus up to 4% seller concessions. Concessions are not allowed on any other type of loan. This is where the seller is just outright doing things for the buyer, paying off a debt for them, buying them a television, buying them a new fence. We've done some weird things on these VA loans. So it's a great tool if we're trying to structure something just right, or if you've got a veteran with not much cash, but there's stuff that needs to be done on the home, the VA loan allows us to do that. Renting rules are a little unique on the VA loan. If they are going to rent out their prior residence, their departing residence, keep it as a rental. VA is super flexible. I get to use whatever the appraiser says it might rent for. I don't need a lease or anything. We just use that number as income and move right along. They're a little less flexible, though, if the veteran owns rental property. We need a 2-year history of being a landlord and owning that rental property to be able to count that income. And that's one of the most common errors that loan officers make, is not realizing that one restriction that would make a difference. Lastly, VA is the only loan that focuses on something called residual income. What does that mean? Well, that's money left over after you pay all your major bills, okay? After you pay for the mortgage, the debts on your credit card. We even look at living expenses for the home, okay? Child care. Once we account for all that, how much is left over? And if you have enough left over, the VA loan will let you really go high on the debt to income ratio. If you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know why the other loans don't ask about things like child care, since it's such a big expense. But if you have money left over after that compared to your family size, I have seen VA loans pass at 67% debt to income ratio. Really, really high 60s. It's amazing. It can really help get our veterans into a home where it might make sense, right? Because they might have a spouse or other family members with income. And plus, it's based on that residual income. So if you've got a lot of money, why shouldn't you be able to use a lot of monthly income? Why shouldn't you be able to use a lot of it on your house? So the VA loan is super flexible. It is a great product. And I beg you, if you are working with veterans, let's keep them away from some of those big online providers that are well known, but they don't do quality pre-approvals. Be careful. I get the save calls, and I have many, many times had to try to come in behind and save a deal because a lot of these online companies, they just give out these letters like candy and they don't actually check anything. And I'm telling you, your veteran does not want a fast pre-approval letter. They want a fast pre-approval letter they can depend on. We know there's some bias in the market against VA loans. So if you work with me, I'll be able to provide the faster closing. We do 21 days on VA loans. Plus our personal phone call to the listing agent to let them know all the work we did to get your buyer super pre-approved. And finally, our close on time guarantee, $5,000 to the seller if we don't close or we close even 1 day late. And those extras can really help get our veteran across the finish line, even with a skeptical listing agent. So look, if you have veteran clients or you're a veteran yourself, please reach out. We would love to assist you and show you how the VA loan can be a great strategic tool to get you where you want to go. And if you've ever gotten a good tip from me, please think of me for your next buyer. We want to be your lender.